What if death is not the end, but a doorway to a journey more intricate and awe-inspiring than anything we've imagined? The ancient Egyptians didn't just believe in an afterlife. They mapped it out in astonishing detail, with step-by-step instructions on how to navigate the realms beyond. But what if their knowledge wasn't just mythology, but a forgotten science of the soul? Could this ancient text, buried for millennia, hold the key to what happens when we die? Stay with me, because what you're about to discover may change the way you see life, death, and reality itself. What secrets lie hidden within the chambers of the immortal soul? Is consciousness simply extinguished with our final heartbeat, or does it awaken, embarking on a celestial journey through realms beyond human comprehension? Join us as we unravel the wisdom hidden within these ancient hieroglyphs, secrets whispered across millennia, encoded within the very fabric of the afterlife. Welcome to an odyssey through one of history's most mysterious and powerful spiritual texts, the ancient Egyptian Book of Coming Forth by Day, better known as the Egyptian Book of the Dead. A manuscript whispered through the sands of time, filled with incantations, divine trials, and hidden knowledge said to guide the departed through the treacherous landscapes of the afterlife. But what does this ancient text truly reveal? And could its wisdom hold the key to understanding what awaits us beyond the veil of mortality? Stay with me as we unravel the astonishing secrets buried within its sacred pages. Imagine a book so powerful it doesn't just tell a story. It charts a course beyond the veil of death itself. A sacred manuscript, not merely ink on papyrus, but a spiritual compass designed to guide the departed through the perilous landscapes of the afterlife. This is the true essence of the Book of Coming Forth by Day. But make no mistake, this is no ordinary collection of ancient spells. It is a blueprint for the soul, an intricate roadmap through the Duat, the vast and enigmatic Egyptian underworld. A realm teeming with celestial gates, divine guardians, and treacherous trials that test the very essence of one's spirit. To the ancient Egyptians, this world was not myth, but an undeniable reality, one as intricate and infinite as the universe itself. And within the pages of this sacred text lies the key to navigating it. But what dangers lurk in the shadows of the Duat? And what ultimate fate awaits those who dare to journey through it? What you're about to discover may change the way you think about life, death, and what lies beyond. Could these sacred texts hold the key to understanding not only death, but the deeper nature of our own existence? This extraordinary manuscript did not emerge from mere imagination. It was meticulously crafted by the priest scholars of ancient Egypt, spiritual architects who spent centuries perfecting a guide to the afterlife. Its roots stretch deep into history, with some of its oldest spells traced back to the pyramid texts of the Old Kingdom, around 2400 BCE, a time when the Great Pyramids of Giza still gleamed under the sun, their limestone casings unweathered by time. For thousands of years, this sacred knowledge evolved, passed from dynasty to dynasty, carved into tomb walls, written on papyrus scrolls, and buried alongside the departed as a divine passport to the next world. But why did the ancients dedicate so much effort to this spiritual technology? And what does it reveal about their profound understanding of life, death, and the soul's eternal journey? The answers may be far more astonishing than you ever imagined. The ancient Egyptians did not see death as an end, but as a glorious awakening. They called this sacred text the Book of Coming Forth by Day, or in their ancient tongue, Pertim Hru. This title alone holds a profound revelation. To them, death was not darkness, but a transition into light. A spiritual dawn that followed the night of physical existence. But make no mistake, this was no simple religious doctrine. The priests who safeguarded and refined these teachings were far more than temple figures. They were master philosophers, mystics, and seekers of cosmic truth. Through decades, if not lifetimes, of spiritual discipline, ritual observation, and deep contemplation, they claimed to have penetrated the veil of existence itself. Were they merely preserving myths, or had they uncovered a deeper reality about the soul's journey beyond this world? What secrets did they discover in their search for immortality? And could their ancient wisdom still hold the answers we seek today? What comes next may change the way you see life and death forever. The Book of Coming Forth by Day was not the work of a single author, nor a fixed doctrine. It was a living, evolving testament to the mysteries of the soul. Over centuries, across countless dynasties, its wisdom grew, enriched by the revelations of spiritual adepts who refined and expanded humanity's understanding of the afterlife. Each generation of seekers added new layers of insight, forging a manuscript that was both a map to the beyond and a reflection of the ever-deepening pursuit of truth. But those who inscribed these sacred teachings were no ordinary scribes. They were known as those who know things, masters of both the visible and the invisible, keepers of knowledge that transcended the physical world. To them, reality was not just what the eyes could see, but an intricate web of forces, energies, and dimensions far beyond ordinary perception. What exactly did these ancient scholars know? What hidden truths did they guard so carefully, passing them down from dynasty to dynasty? And could their insights hold the key to understanding a reality greater than our own? What you're about to discover may forever change the way you see existence itself. Ancient Egypt was more than a civilization. It was a spiritual masterpiece, meticulously designed to reflect the great cosmic order. At its core lay Ma'at, the sacred principle of harmony, balance, and truth. But to the Egyptians, Ma'at was not just a religious belief or moral code. It was the very fabric of reality itself, the invisible force that held the universe together. Every temple, every ritual, every law, even the construction of their awe-inspiring pyramids, was aligned with this profound understanding. Life and death were not separate states, but part of a grand, interconnected journey, where the soul was shaped, tested, and ultimately transformed. It was from this enlightened worldview that the Book of Coming Forth by Day was born, a sacred text not just for the dead but for the living, a guide to navigating both the earthly realm and the mysteries beyond, revealing that existence itself was a sacred path of evolution. This is why the scribes who preserved these teachings were regarded as more than mere record keepers. They were guardians of esoteric knowledge, known as those who know things. Through their work, the wisdom of the ancients was passed down through the generations, refined and expanded, ensuring that the journey of the soul was meticulously mapped. But what exactly did they know? And how did they come to possess such an advanced understanding of existence? The answers lie within the verses of this sacred book, inscribed in cryptic hieroglyphs that tell a story of cosmic gates, divine trials, and the ultimate transformation of the human soul. To truly grasp its significance, we must venture into the heart of the Duat, the Egyptian underworld, and witness the challenges that awaited those who dared to pass beyond the threshold of mortality. The ancient Egyptians possessed a remarkably intricate understanding of the soul, a concept far richer and more nuanced than our modern interpretations. Unlike today's singular notion of the soul, they recognized it as a complex entity composed of multiple aspects, each with its own purpose and destiny. At the heart of this spiritual framework was the Ka, the vital force or spiritual double that animated the physical body. More than mere life energy, the Ka was a powerful essence that continued to exist beyond death, sustained by offerings and rituals, acting as a bridge between the earthly and the divine. Equally fascinating was the Ba, often portrayed as a human-headed bird. The Ba represented the essence of personality, the unique traits and emotions that defined an individual. Unlike the Ka, the Ba was not bound to the tomb. It had the extraordinary ability to move freely between the worlds of the living and the dead, visiting loved ones or soaring to the heavens to commune with the gods. This multidimensional view of the soul underscores how deeply the Egyptians believed in the interconnectedness of existence. For them, death was not an end, but a transformation, a passage that each soul component navigated in its own way, guided by the sacred knowledge preserved in texts like the Book of Coming Forth by Day. Understanding these concepts not only provides insight into the Egyptian worldview, but also challenges us to reconsider our own perceptions of life, death, and what it truly means to possess a soul. Perhaps the most fascinating of all was the Akh, the fully transformed, enlightened aspect of the soul. Unlike the Ka or Ba, which remained tethered to earthly concerns, the Akh represented spiritual transcendence, the moment when the soul shed all earthly ties and united with the divine. This was the ultimate goal of existence, not just survival after death, but elevation to a higher state of being, where one could dwell among the gods and stars. But to the Egyptians, these were not abstract ideas or mere philosophy. They saw the transformation of the soul as a real, attainable process, one that required careful preparation, sacred knowledge, and the mastery of powerful rituals. This is why the Book of Coming Forth by Day was more than just a funerary text. It was a guide to immortality, a manual for navigating the afterlife and ensuring that each aspect of the soul was not only preserved, but elevated. Every spell, Every invocation, every ritual carved into tomb walls or written on delicate papyrus scrolls served a purpose: to protect the soul from destruction, empower it against the trials of the underworld, and ultimately unlock its divine potential. This wasn't just about escaping death, it was about achieving something far greater: eternal existence as a radiant divine being. By understanding these ancient teachings, we begin to see that the Egyptians were not merely preoccupied with death. They were obsessed with transformation, with unlocking the highest potential of human consciousness. And perhaps hidden within these ancient texts, there are lessons that still resonate with us today. When we step into the mystical realm of the Duat, we're not simply exploring the afterlife. We are venturing into a sophisticated map of consciousness transformation. This was not a place of aimless wandering, but a carefully structured journey where the soul faced profound trials of wisdom, strength, and self-discovery. Upon entering the Duat, the deceased was no longer just an ordinary soul. They became an Osiris, a being on the path to divinity. But this journey was far from simple. The Duat was a vast, otherworldly landscape filled with gates, rivers of fire, and hidden chambers, each symbolizing a different stage of psychological and spiritual evolution. To advance, the Osiris had to pass through sacred gates, each guarded by powerful and often terrifying beings. These were not mindless sentinels, but keepers of esoteric knowledge, demanding specific names, sacred words, and divine passwords before allowing passage. These challenges were more than mere obstacles. They were initiation tests designed to ensure that only those who had attained true wisdom and spiritual readiness could move forward. Every encounter, every gate, and every test mirrored a deeper inner transformation. The journey through the Duat was not just about survival. It was about shedding illusions, proving one's spiritual strength, and ultimately ascending to a higher state of existence. But what were these tests? What cosmic truths did the Egyptians encode within these trials? And how did this journey prepare the soul for its final, most decisive moment, the weighing of the heart? Among the many trials in the Duat, none is more decisive than the weighing of the heart, a moment of ultimate reckoning in the Hall of Two Truths. Here, under the watchful gaze of Osiris, the lord of the underworld, and a tribunal of 42 divine judges, the very essence of the deceased is put to the test. At the center of this sacred ritual stands the scales of Ma'at. On one side rests the heart of the departed, the vessel of their thoughts, deeds, and intentions throughout life. Opposing it is the feather of Ma'at, the pure symbol of truth, balance, and cosmic order. This is no ordinary judgment. It is a test of one's alignment with the fundamental laws of the universe. Unlike modern notions of morality, this was not a simple measure of good versus evil. The Egyptians believed that to attain eternal life, one had to live in accordance with Ma'at, the divine principle that governed all existence. The heart was not weighed against arbitrary rules, but against the very fabric of the cosmos itself. Those who had lived in harmony with truth and balance could pass on to a blessed existence among the gods. But for those who had lived in corruption, deceit, or imbalance, the fate was far more terrifying. If the heart was found heavier than the feather, it was cast into the jaws of Ammit, the devourer of souls, a monstrous being part lion, part crocodile, part hippopotamus. There would be no second chances, no reincarnation. Their soul would be annihilated, erased from existence for all eternity. This was the final and most absolute test, not just of actions, but of the true weight of one's soul. And for those who passed, an even greater mystery awaited: the final transformation into an Akh, a radiant, eternal being united with the divine. But what did the Egyptians believe happened after this transformation? And could these ancient ideas reveal something deeper about our own spiritual journey? Before the final judgment is passed, the deceased must stand before the divine tribunal and proclaim their purity in the form of the negative confession, a solemn recitation of 42 sacred declarations. These are not mere pleas for mercy nor simple moral affirmations, but statements of spiritual mastery, a testament to a life lived in harmony with Ma'at. I have not done wrong. I have not stolen. I have not caused pain. I have not spoken falsehoods. Each confession is more than just a denial of wrongdoing. It is an affirmation of the soul's alignment with truth, balance, and cosmic harmony. The Egyptians understood that the journey through the afterlife was not about punishment or reward, but about transformation. Each statement corresponds to a deeper aspect of consciousness that must be purified and perfected before one can ascend to a higher state of being. This ritual was not just for the dead, it served as a guide for the living. By embodying these principles in life, one was not merely following rules but actively cultivating a lighter, more refined soul, one that would not be weighed down by regret, deception, or imbalance when the moment of judgment arrived. But the final test was still to come. Would the soul's journey through the Duat, through its trials, confessions, and transformations, be enough to pass the ultimate test? Or would it fall into oblivion at the hands of Ammit, the devourer of souls? For those who succeeded, an even greater destiny awaited, a path to divine unification, where the soul would transcend death itself. Beside the sacred scales, lurking in silent anticipation, waits Ammit, the devourer of souls. Part lion, part crocodile, part hippopotamus, she embodies the most fearsome creatures of the Nile, a being of inescapable finality. Her presence is not that of a vengeful punisher, but of an enforcer of cosmic law, a force of nature ensuring that only those light enough to ascend may continue their journey. To the ancient Egyptians, this was not about arbitrary punishment, nor was it a reflection of divine wrath. The process was simple, impartial, and absolute. A heart weighed down by spiritual ignorance, deceit, and attachment could not pass beyond the hall of two truths. It was not sentenced to destruction. It had simply failed to attain the harmony necessary for ascension. For such a soul, there was no afterlife, no second chance, no rebirth. Consumed by Ammit, they ceased to exist, erased from the cosmic order as if they had never been. To the Egyptians, this was the most terrifying fate imaginable. Not torment, but complete annihilation. The soul did not suffer, because suffering requires existence. Instead, it was cast into eternal nothingness, forever lost. This stark contrast between oblivion and eternal transformation reveals the depth of Egyptian spiritual wisdom. The afterlife was not a reward. It was a destination earned through self-mastery, truth, and balance. Only those who had unshackled themselves from the weight of falsehood, greed, and imbalance could move forward. But for those who passed the test, an even greater mystery awaited, the final merging with the divine, the ultimate transcendence beyond the mortal self. Beyond the weighing of the heart, beyond the trials of the Duat, lies the final and most sacred possibility, the transformation into an Akh, a glorified being of pure, radiant light. This is not simply survival after death. It is transcendence, the ultimate realization of human potential. To become an Akh is to achieve the highest state of consciousness, a state where the soul is no longer bound by the illusions of the material world. It is full union with the divine, an existence beyond limitation, beyond suffering, beyond time. The Akh is no longer tethered to the cycles of birth and death. It has become eternal. Unlike the Ka, which remains connected to the physical realm, or the Ba, which moves between worlds, the Akh is something greater, a fully realized divine being. It possesses the freedom to move between realms at will, to dwell among the gods, to shine as an immortal star in the heavens. In some texts, the Akh is described as having the power to influence the world of the living, to bring wisdom, protection, and even divine intervention. This final transformation is the culmination of all the soul's trials, its purification through the Duat, and its alignment with Ma'at. The Egyptian afterlife was not about mere existence. It was about evolution, about ascending to a state where the self dissolves into something vast, luminous, and eternal. For those who reached this stage, there was no fear of darkness, no risk of annihilation, only the infinite light of awakening. The journey through death was never about endings. It was about what lies beyond, a destiny written in the stars, a return to the cosmic source. Beyond the trials of the Duat, past the weighing of the heart and the soul's final transformation, lies one of the most sacred destinations in the Egyptian afterlife, the field of reeds, Seket Aru. But this was not a heaven in the conventional sense, not a static paradise of endless rest. To the ancient Egyptians, eternity was not an escape. It was an opportunity for continued growth, creation, and spiritual evolution. The field of reeds was envisioned as a perfected reflection of life on earth, a realm of lush greenery, flowing waters and abundant harvests where the soul, now fully transformed into an Ach, could dwell in harmony. Here the individual was free to cultivate divine wisdom, to reunite with loved ones, and to engage in acts of creation, not bound by mortal limitations, but with the freedom of an awakened consciousness. Yet existence in Seket Aru was not merely about pleasure, it was about refinement and mastery. The soul, having attained a state of harmony with Ma'at, could continue its journey of enlightenment, exploring the vast mysteries of the cosmos, communing with the gods, and even influencing the world of the living. In this way, the Egyptian afterlife was not about finality. It was about transcendence, an open-ended journey of infinite potential. This profound vision challenges modern notions of the afterlife. It suggests that death is not an endpoint, nor simply a reward or punishment, but a threshold to new states of consciousness, new dimensions of existence. The Book of Coming Forth by Day was not just a guide to survival in the afterlife. It was a blueprint for understanding the boundless nature of the soul itself. One of the most profound and revolutionary aspects of the Book of Coming Forth by Day is its understanding of the power of words and images, not as mere symbols, but as forces capable of shaping reality itself. To the ancient Egyptians, to speak a thing was to give it life. To inscribe a name, a spell, or an image was to anchor it within existence, ensuring its continuity in both the seen and unseen worlds. This was not mere superstition or primitive magic. It was a highly sophisticated understanding of how consciousness interfaces with reality. The Egyptians recognized that thought, intention, and language were not separate from the world, but active forces within it. Spells were not just prayers, they were tools of creation, blueprints that structured the afterlife, ensuring the soul's passage through the Duat and its final transformation into an Akha. Even tomb inscriptions and painted hieroglyphs were not just for decoration. They were imbued with energetic purpose. Every word, every image was designed to function as a key, unlocking doors in the afterlife, protecting the soul and securing its journey. To erase a name was to erase a person's very existence from the fabric of time. To inscribe a spell was to wield divine power. This concept extends beyond the afterlife, suggesting that reality itself is shaped by consciousness, intention, and expression. The Book of Coming Forth by Day is not just a guide for the dead. It is a revelation about the very nature of existence. Could it be that the ancient Egyptians understood something about reality that modern science is only beginning to grasp? The Book of Coming Forth by Day was not just meant to be read, it was meant to be experienced. The texts were accompanied by intricately detailed vignettes and illustrations, each one meticulously designed to activate specific aspects of consciousness. These were not mere artistic embellishments, they were portals to higher understanding, visual keys that unlocked deeper layers of spiritual transformation. Every color, symbol, and proportion was chosen with precise spiritual significance. The hues of gold and blue represented divinity and the eternal sky, while red and black spoke of transformation, death, and rebirth. Hieroglyphs themselves were not just letters but living symbols, charged with power, each containing a force that resonated beyond the material world. To the Egyptians, the very act of reading or viewing these texts was meant to initiate a change within the observer. The imagery was a form of sacred technology, designed to guide the soul, align the mind with cosmic truth, and even alter one's perception of reality. Whether inscribed on tomb walls, painted on papyrus, or carved into amulets, these texts were not passive objects, they were active forces, shaping both the seen and unseen worlds. This reveals something profound about the ancient Egyptian mindset. They did not merely believe in an afterlife, they engineered it. Their understanding of consciousness, symbolism, and transformation suggests a level of sophistication that challenges modern perceptions of so-called ancient thought. Could it be that these texts were not just records of belief but tools for awakening, a technology of the soul that still holds power today? Modern science is only now beginning to grasp principles that the ancient Egyptians understood intuitively, concepts they wove into their spiritual and philosophical traditions thousands of years ago. The observer effect in quantum physics suggests that consciousness itself influences reality, a notion that mirrors the Egyptian belief that words, symbols, and intentions were not just representations, but forces that shaped existence. Likewise, the idea that reality is interconnected, that everything is bound together in a vast, unified field of energy and intelligence, was a truth embedded in the very foundation of Mayat, the principle of cosmic harmony. To the Egyptians, the physical and spiritual were not separate realms, but interwoven dimensions, each reflecting and influencing the other. The Book of Coming Forth by Day is more than just a collection of funerary texts. It is a bridge between ancient wisdom and modern understanding. It speaks to something deeper than myth or religion. It suggests a hidden architecture of reality, where consciousness, energy, and intention are the fundamental building blocks of existence. Could it be that these ancient texts contain insights that modern physics is only beginning to rediscover? As we decode their meaning, we may find that the Egyptians were not looking back toward the past. They were reaching toward a future where science and spirituality converge. The Book of Coming Forth by Day makes one thing abundantly clear. Preparation for the afterlife does not begin at death. It begins in life. The journey through the Duat was not meant to be an uncertain fate left to chance or divine judgment. Instead, the Egyptians believed that through conscious living, spiritual discipline, and inner transformation, one could actively shape their destiny beyond death. This was not about seeking rewards or fearing punishment. It was about developing the consciousness necessary to exist on higher planes of reality. Just as the physical body required nourishment and training, so too did the soul require cultivation. Through right action, meditation, sacred rituals, and alignment with Ma'at, one could refine their spirit, making it light enough to ascend rather than be weighed down by ignorance, attachment, or imbalance. To the Egyptians, life was a training ground for eternity. Every act, every thought, and every intention contributed to the shaping of the soul, determining whether it would dissolve into nothingness or awaken as an Akh, a luminous being of divine consciousness. This perspective challenges the modern view of death as an abrupt ending. Instead, it suggests that what comes next is a direct continuation of what we cultivate in this life. The great spiritual journey does not begin at the moment of passing. It begins now. Each chapter of the Book of Coming Forth by Day is more than a set of instructions. It is a manual for awakening the full potential of human consciousness. This was not just a guide for navigating the afterlife. It was a blueprint for expanding awareness, mastering the unseen forces of reality, and unlocking the hidden capabilities of the soul. The text describes practices for astral travel, enabling the spirit to move beyond the physical body and explore the realms beyond time and space. It contains techniques for maintaining awareness in altered states, ensuring that one remains lucid not only in dreams, but in the moment of death itself, allowing for a smooth transition into the next existence. It even details methods for accessing higher dimensions of reality, where the barriers between the physical and spiritual dissolve, revealing the interconnected nature of all things. The Egyptians understood what modern science is only beginning to explore: that consciousness is not static. It can be trained, expanded, and refined. Through specific rituals, meditations, and sacred recitations, the mind could be prepared to perceive beyond the limitations of the material world. Death was not seen as a passive event, but as a conscious transformation, one that the prepared soul could navigate with clarity and purpose. This perspective challenges the modern notion that death is an unknown void. Instead, it suggests that with the right knowledge and preparation, the journey beyond this life is not one of fear, but of liberation. The Book of Coming Forth by Day is not merely an ancient religious text. It is a blueprint for spiritual transformation, a meticulously crafted guide to understanding the eternal nature of consciousness. Unlike many later conceptions of the afterlife, which focused on judgment and retribution, the Egyptians approached death with a sense of purpose and mastery. They saw it not as an end, but as a continuation of an intricate sacred journey, one that could be navigated with knowledge, preparation, and spiritual alignment. As the great Egyptologist Jan Assmann observed, the Egyptians created the first detailed mapping of the afterlife, not out of fear of death, but from a profound understanding of life's eternal nature. This was a civilization that saw existence as a continuum, a grand unfolding of consciousness across multiple states of being. Every spell, every ritual, and every sacred image in the text was designed not just to ensure survival beyond death, but to facilitate a profound metamorphosis of the soul. What makes this text so powerful, even today, is that it does not present death as a passive experience. Instead, it reveals that our thoughts, actions, and awareness shape the journey beyond this world. It suggests that life itself is a training ground for something far greater, a preparation for awakening into a reality beyond physical form. Could it be that the ancient Egyptians possessed a deeper understanding of consciousness than we give them credit for? And if so, what other secrets might still lie hidden within the wisdom of the ancients, waiting to be rediscovered? Do we truly understand what it means to live in harmony with the cosmic order? Have we, like the ancient Egyptians, aligned our lives with a deeper truth, or are we merely drifting, unaware of the spiritual weight we carry? One day, we too will stand before our own version of the Hall of Two Truths, not in some distant afterlife, but in the quiet moments of reflection, in the choices we make, in the legacy we leave behind. The question is, are we prepared to face the reality of who we have become? Perhaps the wisdom of the Book of Coming Forth by Day is not just about death. It is about life. It is a reminder that every action, every thought, and every intention shapes our journey, not only in the next world, but in this one. By studying these ancient teachings, we may uncover more than just myths of the past. We may find a blueprint for living with purpose, consciousness, and spiritual awareness. Because in the end, the path through the Duat is not just the soul's journey after death, it is the journey we walk every single day. If this journey through ancient wisdom has sparked your curiosity, don't let it end here. Like the seekers of old, we are all on a path to uncovering the deeper truths of existence. Share this video, leave a like, and subscribe to join the Mystery School, a growing community of truth seekers dedicated to exploring the mysteries of the past and their connection to our present. What fascinates you most about ancient Egyptian spirituality? Is it their intricate understanding of the soul, their vision of the afterlife, or the way they merged science, magic, and consciousness? Tell us in the comments below. Your insights help unravel the timeless mysteries that connect us all. Thank you for watching, and until next time, may your journey through wisdom and transformation continue.